shops and I'll show you the inside and the outside in a little bit, but there's broken bits and pieces, and the radio was stolen, and every shop she's been to address some small oil leaks has tried to take the car from her or tell her to scrap it or offer $50 or something like that. And you know, that really rubbed me the wrong way. Howdy, welcome back to the Addicted Motors YouTube channel. I've got a very different style video for you today. Please hang out and run through this story with me. Now, I look at a lot of Land Rovers. I'm always in the market. I'm always looking for a deal. It's always good to buy something from someone who might not know what they have or is in a position to get it cheap, because I don't have a whole lot of money to spend on things. But in some situations, that's not always the case, and there is a right and a wrong way to do things. So this particular vehicle I'm in right now, I did not purchase from anybody, and I'll go into the story right now. And if you're new to the channel, please like and subscribe and do that awesome YouTube stuff. It really helps me out. I've hit over 10,000 subscribers, so thank you so much to you guys. And please check out the rest of my videos. Over 1,000 Land Rover, Range Rover, and multiple other brand theme content. So this particular truck, it's a 96 D1, was on Facebook Marketplace for $1,000, or sorry, not $1,000. I wish it was $1,000. It's $5,000. And it's Sunday, nothing to do. I'm like, let me go drive it. I'm sure I can find somebody who's interested in buying it. So I ride over there. I knock on the door. A little old lady answers the door. So we get to talking. She's telling me about the car. It has some bumps and bruises and whatnot, but it looks like it's in very good shape. The paint is there. It seems all original, unmolested. And I asked her, how long have you owned this? Because that's a lot of car to maintain for a while. And turns out she's the original owner. She bought this brand new from Land Rover in Richmond in 1996 and had it ever since. She's in love with this truck. And unfortunately, over the past 5 years, she has been, I wouldn't say preyed upon by semi-predatory shops and I'll show you the inside and the outside in a little bit, but there's broken bits and pieces, and the radio was stolen, and every shop she's been to address some small oil leaks has tried to take the car from her or tell her to scrap it or offer $50 or something like that. And you know, that really rubbed me the wrong way. That's a very common thing to do. You see an older person with a car. I mean, they weren't even trying to buy the car from her. They were just trying to maybe not do the work, or they didn't know how to do the work. And unfortunately, she didn't know that there was other options. So we got to talking, and I basically said, listen, I can't buy this car from you. I asked her, do you want to keep the car or do you want to sell the car? She's like, if I could get it fixed, I would love to keep this car. She's moving down to Virginia Beach. She wants to keep it down there, and it's very useful. It holds a lot of things, and her other car is a Mercedes 350 blue eco diesel. So pretty cool, two-car solution there. So she obviously likes her cars. And I said, listen, I'll pick it up, bring it to the shop. We'll do a little video on it, and we'll get this car up and running so you can feel confident and continue to drive it, because she loves the car. And that's what we're doing. I just picked it up from her. I'm going to bring it back to the shop, and we're going to give it a once-over, check it out, and kind of see what a legitimate one-owner D1 looks like. Now, while I'm driving here, just a real quick, there's no dash lights. It starts right up. It's a 4-liter. It's got 143,000 miles on it. The temps are good. Everything else is good. Someone in the last week broke her dash cluster. She doesn't know how. She lent it to a friend who obviously did not take care of things. Here's the aftermath, unfortunately. It looks like someone had also stolen the original radio, so she put this aftermarket radio, but she doesn't even know how to use it. I don't even know how to use it. They're terrible, and the cup holder's missing. But other than that, it's in very good usable condition. The headliner looks great. It looks like again, the car is almost 30 years old. The mirror's fallen off and put back on, but it's not leaking anything on the inside. It's quiet, it has stock tires, stock height. It's just a lovely place to be, and you forget, I always say this, how nice these are in stock form. So I told her, delete the Facebook Marketplace ad. You're just gonna get preyed upon, and you're gonna get so many messages by so many people. Let's get this thing fixed up. So that's what I'm going to do. I think there's going to be some things I'm going to do myself. There's a little tiny bit of rust on the rear cargo tray, so I'm going to pull that rubber stuff out, the sound deadening things, and probably touch up some spots here and there, but we're going to try to get the mechanics done on it also. So a little bit of a group effort, and she's, I mean, this isn't, I mean, at least from the mechanical side of things, she's willing to pay. She just hadn't previously been able to find a shop that would accurately diag and fix the issues that she would like remediated. All right, so here it is. I didn't do a walk around before because I was kind of chatting with JoAnne, and I probably should have gotten the story directly from her, but she had to run back to Virginia Beach and was very happy that we could try to help her out with this because she was getting so many scammy messages, which if you watch my videos, you're probably familiar with Facebook Marketplace, and navigation of that area is a tough one. So it's awesome to see a truck in this condition. Very rarely do you see Land Rovers with brake dust on the wheels because they're just not driven that often. I'm assuming that she probably had the wheels rotated recently, but they are nice. Like I said, it's a 96 D1, all original, purchased from Land Rover Richmond back in 96. She's also very upset that someone recently stole the rear tire cover off the back of this truck as well, but you know, it's got a lot of history. It's got a little dent here like they usually do. It's hard, people don't always remember to compensate for the extra bumper, but this truck was garage kept. And you can tell by the condition of all the plastics and the condition of all the rubber. I mean, there's not even a door ding on it, which is pretty impressive. It's got some kind of factory tints, some window, some WeatherTech stuff on here as well, normal things. But even these running boards, they're not faded to gray. The mirrors aren't faded to gray or anything like that. And it's all in pretty condition. You know, even the emblem says Land Rover on there. There's a crack in some of the front grille plastics from when her daughter bumped into something. Looks like it got a little bit more than that, but she replaced the grille. It's got a battery tender on it from AAA back in the day. I guess that was something that they recommended she install. And you know, there's really not a whole lot to say about the exterior. You know, it's all pretty honest as far as I can tell. Some parking permit things. Again, these tires look pretty good at AAA. I'm assuming because they are Firestones. I don't know, 235, 65, 16s. Factory, even with the little disco logo on. Mud flaps, you know, all the stuff you really want to see. So let's jump onto the inside. Again, it's a 96. It's not, you know, it's not a, I think it's an SE7 because it is a 7-seater. But look, headliner, great condition. Back seats, great condition. Even has the mat and everything back here. The carpets aren't wet or anything, and the mat's also not, you know, staining the carpet like a lot of these do when they get dried out and whatnot. So not a whole lot to talk about back here because there's not really much going on. Just to walk around. I got a AAA sticker. That's how you know it's good. Interior. This is where it gets a little bit unfortunate, and all of this is fixable. Like I said, but it's not showroom condition off the bat. You're missing normal wear and tear. If you own a car this long, there's going to be wear items. All these soft plastics are going to mess up every once in a while. That, again, it's where someone like kicked or broke that. Very unfortunate. Pieces are still sitting there, missing the cup holders and a few things like that. But all things that can be found and sourced locally at a pick and pull. But little details. Like, look at these door jambs. I mean, the worst bit is there's a little tiny bit of rust there. And I noticed in the back, there's a little bit here, and then under here, since the rubber is still installed, I'm gonna pull that out and inspect a little bit more. But at the end of the day, that's not the end of the world. Especially because if you look under the car, your rear cross member and everything else is all intact and actually looks very good. It's got some Bilstein shocks on it, which I don't know if this came with Bilstein OEM, but it might have. I've seen them on a few different trucks at junkyards as well. Let's take a look under here because they said that it was leaking, and of course it's a Land Rover, it's going to leak something. So that looks like ATF, or it doesn't really look like oil because the oil looks good. So most of these have power steering leaks. It could be a power steering leak, seeing how it's mostly isolated to this one side. But I won't know that for sure until we get into the shop and get it looked at. All right, so let's fire it up. It's really unfortunate that someone did it to the dash. And see what's going on here, because it's idling pretty high. The anti-lock light goes off after you drive it a little bit, and it gets a little rotation in the sensors. But let's just see what's going on in the hood. So again, here it's got a little bit of a high idle, but it also has some pretty wild hacky fixes for some of these vacuum lines. Yeah, that's not supposed to be there. Let's cut it off so I don't yell. But that high idle really can probably be remedied quite easily by fixing probably a lot of the vacuum leaks that are most likely present on that. So it looks like you've got a new mass airflow sensor at some point. You know, I think this is a water hose line or a fuel line, because this is not the right line for the engine, so that could affect things. That one in the back, and I'm sure there's a few other that are missing, including, you know, cruise control. That's not even, oh look, it's right here, but not hooked up. And again, these things can have air leaks all sorts of places. There's one there, but it's not too bad on the back. Actually, the power steering lines look okay. So maybe it's a line underneath. But, you know, the valley looks good. All the usual spots where you see a little bit of leaking, and not as prevalent here. Everything else looks okay, but I've definitely given it a good once over. Once it's on the left. So I do have a question for the overall group that watches these videos. 94, 95, 96 D1s with the antenna, right? It's not power, is it? I mean, it's like an analog antenna. Is there a motor in here? I've never seen one. I've never seen one that's operable. I just assume that it's an analog antenna. If you have one that works, let me know. Just out of curiosity. So what do you guys think of this truck? Again, it's a one-owner truck, and to most places it's just an old thing, not really worthy of a little bit of TLC and restoration. But I think this is a very achievable, tinkerable project. You need some vacuum hoses. You might need a couple oil leaks, a little bit of rust repair, and you know, some cosmetic binnacle replacement and plastics and whatnot. But just normal, honest, you know, project things. We're not pulling the transmission out or resealing the motor or anything like that. That's not what this thing needs. This thing needs just a little bit of, you know, personal care, I guess. And that's not something you always pay a shop to do. Yes, you can do a little bit of both, but there's some things that can be very much done on your own just to breathe a little bit of life back into this. So now I'm going to bring it up to the shop. We're going to drop it off, and we're going to probably get a list of what, you know, what it actually needs, what it could use, and, you know, what would be beneficial long term. And that'd be interesting to roll up as far as a one owner 150,000 mile truck and how it's fared mechanically over the past almost 30 years. So forgive my camera position, I can't find my mount, but yeah, so I think this car has a great story, and I think it's worth you know, I guess saving. And this is not an incredible act of charity. We're not doing this for free. You know, there's something to be said for just connecting a customer with the right shop that can help them out. And I think that's really what's happening here. So she's very excited about this undertaking. She literally gave me the keys and her phone number and information. And I'm on my way to the shop to drop it off now, honestly. So sometimes you can catch someone in the right place at the right time and things work out. And again, the truck drives beautifully, it runs beautifully, it has a high idle, but the suspension doesn't have any creaks or groans or pretty much anything out of place besides, I mean, a couple, you know, airlines, a hose, a couple oil, I mean, little things, guys. I mean, this is just, this car is an absolute treat to drive, and I'm really glad that I took a chance and had a conversation with somebody. I haven't been doing that as much as I usually have done recently, and sometimes it works out and I get to experience something new and really kind of get a baseline and kind of feel what these things are all about. So, yeah. So Zach gave it a ride. So what do you think?
Great.
Yeah.
I mean, you forget how good these things are on stock wheels and suspension.
I know. I forget you're driving a Land Rover. Like, oh, I'm just driving a nice, quiet. I could have a phone call in here and not be disturbed.
It's so heavy.
Yeah. Well, no lift, normal tires. It's that's what Grant just drove it too. He had the exact same comment. Like, oh, I get why people bought these. You know. Oh yeah. There's the size comparison next to the big old lifted one. Looks good though. All right, so that's gonna wrap up this video for the one owner D1. This is gonna be, I think, a little bit of an ongoing story. I don't know how often I'm gonna be able to provide updates because the shop needs to look at it, and then I'm gonna do some things to it. Then we're gonna return the car to her. So it'll be kind of a, it'll be a nice story, and I think that is important when it comes to, ownership experiences with some of these older cars. And I just kind of want to see what happens with this one. So if you're interested in following along with this story, please like, subscribe, check out the rest of the videos on my channel, and we'll catch you for the update video. Thanks again.